moving on to our last and final segment, and every Monday we educate you on a medicinal topic, something that you can learn about. And today we're moving on to a different segment. We want to be in the side of, you can give and help out and reach out to people. The importance of doing that is whether you have done some good deed in your life. There are people who prepare themselves for an early death. There are people who prepare themselves for the circumstances that may arise in their life. But the Sri Jayawardhanapura General Hospital, the steering committee from the organ transplant unit, we have two doctors who are joining us here in the studios to tell you or share their importance on how you can save another person's life in the event of an accident that occurs to you. So joining us today on the show is, on my far right, I have Dr. Nalaka Gunavansa, the consultant vascular, endovascular and transplant surgeon, joining with us, as well as Dr. Chintana Galahitiava, the consultant nephrologist, joining us in discussion today to speak about the Sri Jayawardhanapura General Hospital's appeal for organ donations from both, that is the brain dead, to save other lives. Good morning to you, Doctor. And I think it's a very valuable cause, and it's also a very important area to think, or to invite the general public to think a little on the way of lifestyle that they live in order to save another person's life. Can we start by talking a little about Organ Donor Day, which is scheduled to be held on February 18th, next month? What is it about? What kind of affiliation are we looking at?
Well, February 18th, we are going to call that is the National Organ Day for the first time in Sri Lanka, which has never been held in this country. But to see that all these Western countries, Australia, New Zealand, and also in India, they are doing it in a big way. They are educating the general public the value of this kind of a donation, as well as they run a week, not a day, to improve the public awareness regarding how valuable to donate your organs after death. It's much different from you are donating an organ, say a kidney, when you are living. So this is much important, as that now there are certain organs that we always concern, that the heart, the liver, and the lungs, and also the bowels. These organs, there's no way that you can donate while you are alive. But these organs are, ultimately important to save certain lives. There are so many people waiting in the hospital, waiting lists, to waiting for a good heart, a good liver, and maybe lung. So that this is the only way that save these kind of patients, these lives. So that it is much important for us to be aware about the possibility of donating our organs after our death. So when you are healthy, and unfortunately we come to a circumstance where our lives cannot be saved anymore, say you are met with an accident, or you get a stroke, a brain stroke, or where the doctors might decide that your brain is dead and you are no more there, you are dead. But because you are connected to the machines in intensive care, so your heart keeps on running for a shorter while, maybe maximum 3-4 hours. So during that period, if you have already consented, you can give these organs for the other patients who are waiting for that organ. So this kind of message we want to send across the country to make the public aware, and hopefully get them registered when they are healthy, like all of us, to donate our organs in case of an emergency, sudden death. So the day is February 18th, and the place is the Parliament food court and the car park at Battaramulla, and the time is 6:30 a.m. We are going to go there and make the parade, and we get the t-shirts, caps, and everything. And we are going to walk up to Jayawardhana Hospital along the Japan-Sri Lanka Friendship Road, passing the Kimbulawala Junction. And once we go there, we are going to have a special event in the hospital lobby on the same day.
Dr. Nalaka, I would like to ask you this question. As a nation, we are recognized all over the world of a race of giving. You see, for example, when you have a blood donation camp, the response is overwhelming. There are people who would come across the miles to donate blood. The awareness of organ transplant or donating organs, is it known to Sri Lankans? Are we still in the virgin side of getting this message across? How successful has it been so far, and what type of awareness are we looking at?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very good question. Sri Lanka has always been a very good country for live donation. We have had a very, very successful live donation program, especially for kidney transplant over the almost last 2 decades or even more. Cadaveric donation or brain death donation is something new to us. It has been going on very sporadically since about the late 1990s, maybe one every 2-3 years and so on. But since about the early part of this decade, 2011 or 2010, late 2010, it really kick-started and gradually has been gaining some momentum over the last 6 to 7 years. Now we are actually having a fairly good deceased donor or brain death donor program where we get approximately, I would say, between 20 to 30 donors on average per year. But that is nowhere near what we would want to achieve. That is nowhere near what some other developed countries achieve. If you take it as a proportion of the living population, that's a very, very low number. And the main reason for this actually is a lack of awareness of actually the fact that it is possible to donate your organs, and also certain delays, because as Dr. Chindana said, you only get a very short window where you can decide and we can donate. And more often than not, when you're dead or when you're pronounced brain dead, it's too sudden for, obviously the patient cannot decide at that point, and even for the next of kin and the family, it's too short to make such a drastic decision. And that's one of the reasons that most countries actually have an opting in program where you either when you get your national identity card or whenever you get your driving license, you opt in, saying that now if I'm 18 and if I'm applying for the identity card or the driving license, I can actually say, in case of my sudden death, I already give consent for my organs to be donated. So that it makes it easier for the next of kin at that point, because I have, in my living years, I have already made that decision for myself. So that when I may be 55, 60, I meet with a sudden accident, I am pronounced brain dead.
So that consent has to be given, doctor. If you're in a ventilator, the next of kin or whoever cannot make the decision for you.
No, you can. The next of kin can make the decision in the event that the person living has already not given the consent. The next of kin has the right legally to give that consent. But it makes it so much easier, faster, and you can gain more organs during that short window period where you actually survive only on the ventilator, to gain more organs and to gain more access to these organs if the consent has been given beforehand. And that's one of the reasons that we actually advocate people to opt in during their living years as potential donors. Now, I am a potential donor myself. I have opted in. So like that, a lot of people can opt in. And if you are dead at some point, I mean, all of us die at some point, and at that point, if you are considered a potential person to donate, then you can potentially save 5 lives at that time.
Doctor, I think we have a PPT presentation which you had prepared yourself, which we'd like to take you through as well. Can we discuss about what sort of organs are we looking at, and what's the duration or lifespan that a person should take in the event if there is the occurrence that takes place?
Yes, well,
so this is about organ donors.
Yeah, this is just an advertisement about the open invitation for everybody to join hands with us on February 18th for the walk and make the whole country aware. And this one actually shows about the situation in USA, where by the years the number of people, the gray color graph goes up and up with the years. It's showing that the number of people waiting in the waiting list to receive a kidney. But in Sri Lanka, the condition is even worse actually. So far we have, when you consider the kidney patients, only around more than 60,000 people diagnosed to have advanced kidney disease, out of which around 6,000 people are waiting for kidney transplants, so that our situation is even worse. So when you go back to the presentation now, you see that in USA, being such a developed country, still it is high. So these are the potential organs that we can get from the cadaver, the brain dead person. If you move to the next slide, that will be much clearly show that the liver, the kidney and bowels, the heart, the pancreas, and the lungs, of course. So these are the potential organs. Counted, it's 8 of them, eight of these organs.
Doctor, we've also heard that eyes are possible, isn't it?
Yes, but we take eyes as tissues rather than organs, right? So when you come to the organs, there are 8, 2 kidneys, 2 lungs, the heart, liver, the bowel and the pancreas. But when you come to tissues, there are 50 more tissues you can think about taking from a dying or the dead person and giving to the
And they have
patients.
to be in the same age criteria?
Well, no, actually, now you can have a 65-year-old very healthy person who is supposed to be a young person to donate his organs. Say if he's healthy, you can have a good pair of healthy kidneys, so that you can donate even to a 20-year-old. There's no problem with that.
And what should be the starting age for them to register themselves if they...
So there's no age limit, right?
Okay.
The youngest donor registered in records is just 13 or 14 hours. Soon after he was born, the mother was completely aware that there's something like that. That baby in US was born anencephaly, that he was born unfortunately without a properly developed brain. So the doctors have informed that no, this child cannot be saved. So mother has immediately told, okay, why don't you take the organs for the benefit of the other patients?
The children.
So there's no age limit as such. So everybody is welcome to register with this program, and everybody is eligible, so that when you come to the right time, the people can decide, doctors can decide whether we are going to remove the organs for the patients or not.
Dr. Nalaka, in a quick response, the practicality of this entire thing, the logistics, some may have, okay, how will the remains be after these organs are donated? Because, I mean, Sri Lankan culture, we always have back, we give that respect, and we have a cremation or a burial. What will the remains be like? The logistic side, where will it be done? How can it be, there will be cost involved in transporting. What is the procedure in that, doctor?
Yes, actually, the different institutions, the hospitals as well as the Ministry of Health has made certain arrangements to make those costs and the limitations minimal. If I am to run through very quickly how it happens, let's say a potential patient has a fatal accident and is admitted to hospital A. Hospital A may not have a transplant program. Right? So, but the hospital A, if the patient is already there in the ICU and he is pronounced brain dead, the people or the coordinators in hospital A send out the message that we have a potential donor of blood group A. So then the transplant teams get activated, and if the consent has already been given, the transplant the transplant team, which may be in hospital B in a different city, come over to hospital A immediately. And after checking the consent and all the paperwork, they harvest all these organs that are to be donated, and then you leave the body to be cremated. I mean, to go through the normal process through the coroner and the JMO, judicial medical officer, and so on, in the hospital A where the patient already is admitted. So there is no unnecessary delay, nor any implications thereafter. And then the transplant team takes these organs that they harvested, takes it back to hospital B, where it will be transplanted within the next 24 hours or so. So that's a very quick run through.
Doctor, thank you very much. I mean, how proud would you feel that even your loved one is no more, but his heart or a part of his body is still alive and given life to another person? I mean, what more could you expect? Doctor, thank you very much. Remember the date, it's going to be on the 18th of February. You can just go and register, and the nitty-gritties will be looked after. It's for a worthy cause. It's you living all over again.
That's right. And with that message, we're going to wind up today's show. Thanks a lot for being with us. Thank you to the doctors as well. And have yourself a wonderful